Hi guys, Michael Wright from Michael Wright Photography. Today I'm here in the salon with Jaye from Ultimate Bridal Beauty. She's a hair and makeup artist based in Boca Raton. Tell me a little bit about yourself and your company.
We've been doing hair and makeup for many years. I used to own a day spa, so I've been in the industry for a long time. We do all kinds of different events. We do airbrush foundation, we do lashes, we do all kinds of different updos, extensions, anything to make the bride look more beautiful on the day of her wedding.
Perfect. And I felt like this was a really important thing to do. I wanted to sit down with you because I meet with a lot of brides and they kind of fall into two categories. We have the brides that wear makeup all the time and they know exactly how they want it to look and they just want to have someone that will do it for them on their wedding day, so it's not a hassle for them. And then we've got the other set that never wears makeup and has no idea about what they want to do, and maybe they only get dolled up 3 or 4 times a year to go out for special events. So I felt like this would be a great video to go through some of the questions to ask and go over a couple of things. You briefly touched about airbrush, and one of the main questions I get is airbrush or powder. So walk me through which one you prefer or which one you think is better and why.
I like to use airbrush foundation because, especially in South Florida, any time of the year, when you do take your pictures, you want to take them outside or on the beach, and you can either perspire or sweat or cry and nothing comes off. I airbrush the bride all the way from her face all the way down to her décolleté up to her dress. Nothing comes off on the dress. When you hug and kiss people, nothing comes off, and it gives you a flawless look. It's a lot more natural than regular makeup, where people think it's not, but it is. Almost everybody can use airbrush foundation. Everyone on TV, everyone that uses high definition now is all airbrushed makeup.
Yeah, and that's a big thing because here in South Florida, if you have a wedding anytime after May where the humidity comes back, you can walk outside and immediately start sweating, or like you said, you get emotional and the tear comes down and you just don't want the mascara or what have you just run down your face. Another important thing that you touched on was that when you apply the makeup, you go all the way down through the collarbone, through to about where the dress begins, and that's important because I've seen some brides they've gotten their makeup done, and it's their makeup is 3 shades lighter than their collarbone, and it looks a little weird either in person or in the photo. So that's an important thing that you go all the way down.
And you can only do that with airbrush makeup. If you do it with regular makeup, it will come off on the dress or on other people. And also, everybody's neck, when you sit in the sun and you get color, you're always white under your neck. We airbrush your whole chest area, so you all look flawless.
Cool. And then one of the other things I've noticed from working with you is that you have your own chair, you have your own lights, which is important because sometimes you'll go to a hotel room and the lighting in the hotel room may not be that great, or the way that the room is facing away from the sun, so it's a little bit darker in the room, or if it's a stormy day, having your own lights, as a photographer, I know lighting is key, but when you're applying the makeup, that's very important as well, so that you can see what you're doing.
And we have a light that has daylight. Usually when I go into the room, when I'm going to do the bride, I always pick myself right in front of the window. But sometimes we're in a corporate situation where we're in a room where there's no windows at all, and you must have a light to be able to see exactly what you're doing, or if it's raining, like you said, and it's cloudy.
Yeah, and then I've also noticed from working with you, it's not always just you. You have a team of people, which is important because, if you have a bridal party that's, 10 girls plus a mother and the mother-in-law, it's hard for one makeup artist to go through all of that. So just tell me a little bit about you and your team.
Well, we have a whole group of people. We can do the young brides. We can also do the mothers. We can also do the grandmothers. We come set up. Matter of fact, I'm doing something for 25 people, so there'll be about 6 of us there. And we all set up our own stations. We all have our own airbrush machine. I mentioned again, we do the airbrush where all the people on the news use the same products that we use. We do all different kinds of hair. We can do grandma's hair, or we can do the bride's hair. We do clip-in extensions. We have all kinds of hair accessories that we put in their hair that day if they'd like. We also stay till the end. We put in the veil. We zip up the dress. We do whatever we need to do to make the bride more comfortable that day.
Yeah, it's funny. I've even seen sometimes where they've done a little bit of makeup on the flower girl.
Yes, we always do. The flower girls usually get their hair done, and I always put makeup on the flower girls so that they feel important that day. And they're always good because we do them last, and they wait for us to put it on them, and they feel like a little princess as well.
Which is an important note for me. You mentioned that you do them last. I always tell my brides not to go last, because if there's any reason or any delay that comes up, such as the person in front of you kept getting up to go to the restroom, or was talking with with somebody else, or there was just any type of delay in starting, you don't want to be the bride and the makeup having to be rushed on you to get to the ceremony in time. You want to have one of the other bridesmaids or mother-in-law or somebody else to go last.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The other thing is that you mentioned that you guys can stay a little bit later if they need some touch-ups, especially down here in South Florida, where you mentioned that you can go outside and immediately start to sweat. It can be good to have a team that stays a little bit later and maybe touch you up before the reception or later on in the day.
Yes, we usually suggest to the bride that we can stay. Usually the hairdresser and one makeup artist stays, and especially now that most of the brides do a first look, which is maybe 2 to 3 hours before their ceremony. They want all their pictures done, and then we stay and touch them all up. Everyone that's in the wedding party, we touch them all up so that when they go down to walk down the aisle, they look they've just walked out of the room.
Good. And so the beginning standpoint from this, or the beginning point for all of this, is the trial. So you'll meet with the bride, you'll have the trial, and you'll talk about, I guess, the different styles or what she has in mind, whether she wants to do something more natural or...
Well, we ask the bride to please go on Pinterest and pin some pictures of hair and makeup that she would like, and then she comes for a trial, and we try more than one look. We can do the smoky eye for the girl who really likes makeup, or we can do a real natural look for the girl who doesn't really like makeup. But everybody should have makeup on that day of their wedding, especially when they're wearing a white dress, because all the color is taken out of your skin. So you really need to wear makeup. I also didn't mention that we love to do lashes on all the girls. Lashes and brows are very big right now, and we believe that everybody should have them. A lot of girls don't like them, so we try them on the trial to see if she can tolerate them. Usually for the first 5 minutes they say it bothers them, but then after that they have no problem with it. And we try a small pair, and usually the day of the wedding they say, okay, we can go for the longer pair.
Yeah, and an important note about the trial, which you mentioned to me earlier, off camera, was that one thing about your company is that whoever does your trial is going to be the person on the day of the wedding, which may not always be the case with some companies.
Yeah, I also believe that what we all do is creative, and all of us do it a little bit different, and whoever does your trial that day should definitely do you the day of the wedding. So whoever does the trial will be there that day. We make a chart of exactly what we used on you. We have all the colors. We suggest that the bride bring a lipstick that she likes. If not, we can sell her one that we've used on her. That's the only thing she's going to need to have to touch up that day. And I give her a powder with puff in it to be able to touch it up if she gets shiny at all through the day. You don't have to do anything else. Everything else is done for you and stays all night long.
And at the trial, you can also go through different shades, because from what I've heard a lot of times is people go darker than normal on the day of the wedding just because you're going to be photographed so much. Personally, as a photographer, I like to use flash, and sometimes if you use flash and the makeup is a little bit lighter, then it may not show as well in the photos, correct?
And that's why we do a little bit darker than you would normally do. We try to get you out of the box a little bit, and that way it does look better. And also, when we do you at 1 o'clock and your wedding is at 5, everything settles in and looks better when you're walking down at that time if we start a little bit darker.
Cool. And then another thing is, what are some things that brides should do prior to the wedding day in order to sort of prep their skin for the wedding or for the day of? Is there any type of treatments or things that they should do or should avoid?
Well, I used to own a day spa, so I know a lot about facials, and we suggest maybe 6 months before you get 1 or 2 facials, and maybe 2 weeks before you get another one, which gives your skin life to it. Don't do anything kind of a microdermabrasion or anything that's going to be peeling your skin, because the airbrush does not stay if you're flaking. So we try to tell people to do it nothing after 2 weeks before the wedding.
Yeah, and it's a good thing. I mean, you know, if a bride has any other things that she normally does or like to have on a particular day, they should run it by you, because, you know, if they put on some type of shimmer or some type of lotion or something that's you know, may not jive with you know, the type of airbrush or makeup that you're doing, you need to let them know, or they need to let you know, as well as, you know, certain things may show up differently in photographs. I've had some brides where the makeup looks extremely wet or shiny because it's not quite what it should be in terms of...
Yeah, well, we like to powder you, unless you're an older person, and then we put a lot less powder on you because that shows more of your lines and wrinkles, but that's what our experience knows, how to make you look the best that you can.
Well, I really want to thank you. I mean, I think we touched on a really good number of topics today, things where the average person that doesn't wear a lot of makeup may not know, as well as the people that do wear a lot of makeup, you know, in terms of seeking out a makeup artist and going through the trials and things to look out for. I think we touched on a good number of things. Was there anything you'd like to add in terms of, you know, common questions or concerns or things that you hear from your
some brides think that they look too heavily made up when we finish them, and then we take our iPhones and take pictures of them, and then they actually see exactly what it looks like, and they are so happy that we've done that, because then they can actually see what it looks like. And there are some brides who want 2 or 3 trials, and we're happy to do as many trials as you want, so we get the exact look that you're happy with, we're happy with, and that Michael is happy with.
I'm always happy as long as my brides are happy. That's the main thing, which is why, you know, I refer you as well as a few other people that are really good, because you know, I've heard horror stories from other photographers where the bride, you know, didn't like the makeup and jumped back in the shower, you know, before the wedding, and the ceremony got delayed by an hour because things weren't right. Like, you know, it's really important to refer good people, have the trial, make sure you're on the same page, and that way everything goes smoothly. And I hope this video helps out, you know, all the brides out there that are looking for a makeup artist. These are questions to ask or things to clear up, so that if you go to meet with someone and they say, oh no, all we do is powder, then, you know, not saying that you shouldn't hire them, but, you know, that may be a red flag.
You should look further. Also, the bridal party always comes late. So we always give you a time, and we always get a hard time from the brides. Why are we starting that early? And we don't want to be rushed that day. That's your day, and I believe that that day with all your friends and your family and all your bridesmaids is part of the wedding. So we try to make it fun and enjoyable for you that day, because it's not only the wedding. The day getting ready for the wedding is part of your wedding, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I mean, as a photographer, I'd much rather show up and you guys are ahead of schedule versus, you know, I've had a couple weddings where one in particular, the makeup artist was still doing the makeup 15 minutes before the ceremony was supposed to start. The bride hadn't even put the dress on yet. So you want to start as soon as you can, or as early as possible, just so that everything's relaxed and you don't get that frenzy.
And they also say, well, we don't have to be ready till 4:30, so you can finish at 4:30, but you need a half hour to put your dress on. You need time to put the veil on. So we know all that. We like to do the timeline, or the wedding coordinator does a timeline, because we all know that it takes time to do all that. We make sure you brush your teeth before we put your lipstick on. We all do everybody's lipstick at the end, because you're going to be eating and drinking. So we're professionals. We know what we're doing, and we would love to help you at your wedding.
Perfect. Once again, I'm Michael Wright, Michael Wright Photography. You can see a link to my website below. Jaye with Ultimate Bridal Beauty will include her link as well. If you have any questions or comments, just leave them in the comment section below or shoot us an email. We'd be more than happy to help you out. Thanks again, Michael Wright Photography, and Jaye.
Thank you so much. Hope to be able to help you someday.
Thank you and take care.